Alright, we back with the Boxing Link and more. We back with a little fun video. Talking about Adrien Broner at 130 versus Tank Davis at 130. Super featherweight. Should be an interesting debate on the comment section. Well, if the video does well, but I appreciate everybody for rocking out with the Boxing Link and more. It's your boy CJ Goodfellas. Y'all know what we do. And I've done the breakdown and predictions. I had to redo the Nathaniel Gallimore and J-Rock prediction, was opening up the card Saturday night over in Las Vegas. Main event is Lara and Hurd, and the middle fight is Truex and James DeGale. I'll probably get to that fight later in the week if I decide to get to the fight. But I did the two, and hopefully you guys like it. I release on Monday, sometime Monday, 2 different times, obviously. But it's been a hell of a weekend, man. And we talked a lot about heavyweight boxing. A lot of Canelo Triple G through last week or this past week, even though Sunday's a new week. Now let's have some fun, man. Broner versus Tank at 130. I remember I first seen Broner at 130 versus Ponce de Leon. And, a lot of people thought he lost that fight. Even Harold Letterman and, Larry Merchant, But it was a close and competitive fight. But that was his first big fight on HBO. And, I think his next fight, he ended up knocking out Jason Litzum. And then eventually he got to the Vincent guy he got the 130-pound belt from. And then he defended it one more time versus Elroy Perez. And that was his 130 career right there in a nutshell. I believe Tank Davis fought the tougher fight right now than Broner did at 130, which is Jose Pedraza. And Pedraza signed with Top Rank. Tank knocked him out with ease and outboxed him and then knocked him out. I think Tank is a more talented fighter in my opinion. I think Tank is a potential all-time great. That's his potential right now. And, a lot of people think Mayweather Promotions is holding him back. And he's had his battles with Mayweather. They met, he met Mayweather through Broner. He's had his battles. He doesn't have too much creative control over his home career. And how they treating him and portraying it to other fighters, makes other fighters not want to sign with him. Let me say that first. Tank should be treated well because Tank is legit, has future star qualities in the sport. He didn't fight Lomachenko, but as a street dude, and what I've been hearing, he wanted to fight him. He tired of going around in public and people trolling him saying that you scared of Lomachenko, but that's what his promoter is holding him back. He wanted to train in Baltimore. Floyd told him no. He said, fuck that. I still train in Baltimore. Floyd put him on the shelf to teach him a lesson. Now he said they not helping him out down there while he training with Broner and Kevin Cunningham and his team in West Palm Beach, Florida. They say they don't care if he need anything or nothing. And he didn't like that. Then he went on the Breakfast Club and say he would entertain working with Oscar De La Hoya in the future before that. So he feeling some type of way. But you got to remember, this dude is 23 years old, coming up with new fame and money. It's not easy for a 23-year-old who really never had shit, was in and out of foster care, I believe. So it's tough, and maybe he's training with Broner to sympathize and get through some of the struggles because Broner went through those exact same struggles, So I don't think it's good for him to be training with Broner or training under him or with him. I think he should have went out with Mikey Garcia like he said he was going to do. And I think it would have been a lot better for him. But obviously it's just a test run because, Jesus Celia or whatever his guy's name, he's okay, but he's moving up in weight. He just lost to Abner Mara, so you could just imagine what Tank is going to do to him. And with 25-8, his show with Adrien Broner, where Broner's trying to take him under the ring even after they beef. But, beef is nothing with guys. Guys are able to put water on the bridge and move on with a relationship. They don't hold on to shit like women do. But that's another conversation for another day. But he beat the shit out of that Montana Love kid guy. From Philly, the one that did all the dancing with the pad work. He was dogging him. They leaked the sparring footage because it was on 25-8. And I'm pretty sure Montana Love brought up on it. But Montana was being competitive. We could just see Tank. Tank got just a look in his eye. Just a look of a champion, bro. The only problem with Tank, other than just mentally trying to get through the young stage of this boxing shit, is that his weight. The Tank is short and thick, so how far can he go up and be effective? He's already 5'5", 5'4", 5'6", or something like that. He's a short, stocky guy. And he got to maintain that 130 because I think 135 may be the limit. That might be the sky for him. And I know it's hard for him to make the weight, but they should just get him a nutritionist and a guy that just has a weight plan made out for him to make weight. And I think it'll help him because he needs to get up with other fighters that have done this. Like Curtis Stevens, he's a big, stocky guy who's trying to get down to 54, who was amazing that he got down to 160. He was a 168 pounder. And, he juices the fight, the week of the fight. He doesn't eat any solid. He juices, and then, that's what he do to make weight, just to make 160. So, for Tank, he needs to, not just go to the Julian Love route, or not just try to follow after Floyd. That's where you can't follow after Floyd at. It's the weight, because he walks around at his fighting weight. You got to find other ways to make sure you're strong and in shape. But, Broner was a talent at 130 as well. He had speed. He had unbelievable power at that weight. And he was, he was doing his thing. He had a good jab. He just seemed to be something different, especially when he knocks out Litzum to erase the doubt about the Daniel Ponce de Leon fight. Then he go on to beat Escobedo, so whatever that guy's name is, that Vincent guy. Then he goes on to beat Elroy Perez to defend his title and moves up to 35. But honestly, at both of their times, Tank's, I don't know their true ages. Broner was real young, but Tank is going to have a better resume at 130, obviously. He's going to stay there longer. Broner moved up, and Broner was a hell of a puncher. But I think Tank, obviously, may be a better puncher than Broner was at 130. I think he's a better boxer than Broner was. At 130 as well. But Broner was a hell of a puncher. He let his hands go a little bit more back then. It's a very, very debatable fight, in my opinion. Would Tank had destroyed Daniel Ponce de Leon's? I don't know. That guy was very, very savvy and skilled and seasoned at that age. And Broner was just a young buck just trying to make a name for himself on HBO. So it's a tough conversation. But this would be a hell of a fight. If they can make it happen and go back and bring this Tank to that Broner at that time. But without knowing we know not about Broner, I think Tank I still would favor Tank. Like I told you guys, Broner looked like, Broner came on the scene with a hiccup. Then he looked like a champion, fighting those three guys. Then, not the Escobedo, but the Vincent guy, he fighting him, fighting Perez, and then fighting Escobedos, and then fighting DeMarco. His rise from 130 to 135 to 135 to 147 was very, very quick, and I think it was premature. And I think eventually that hurt his career. I don't know if he had trouble making the weight. He was starving himself that much to make the weight. But I thought he should have at least, stayed at 135 a little bit longer. Even though through the years, it would probably been better for him to stay at 135 because through the years, there was really no competition there. You had Miguel Vasquez, Richard Abreu, and guys like that there. But, they could have, match made around that for Broner. Then he should have went to 140, did his thing, and then 47. He tried to do the Shane Mosley. He tried to dare to be great, but, it didn't work for him. And but I just think Tank is just a worldly. I think Tank is special. I do think highly of Tank. I think he's special. I think put that Broner in with this Tank. I think Tank beats him. I don't know if it's gonna be by knockout or what it may be. But I just think Tank is special. Now if you're trying to compare Tank and as far as weight classes, Tank don't have about the height and the arm length of Broner to go up to 47. I think 35 may be the limit. 40 may be the absolute limit for him at the most. That might be his ceiling. But I just think at 130, I think Tank was that guy. I think he's just different. I know, and he has a better win than Broner does at the weight class with Pedraza. It was more impressive than the Daniel Ponce de Leon's win. So I'm just interested in who y'all think will win, the 130-pound version of Broner or the 130-pound version of Gervonta Tank Davis. Just some fun video to have a good debate, and hopefully you guys enjoy the content that we're kicking out. Appreciate it. It's your boy CJ Goodfella, TBC, and more. We out.